Good evening, and welcome to another powerful edition of Defending Our Community. I'm going to be your host, Sister Khadija, and I'm the co-host. Mr. Kevin is the host, and he'll be walking in or running in really shortly. The topic that Mr. Kevin decided that we were going to discuss would be freedom. Is freedom free? And that's entitled a lot of things that we could be discussing. At right now, it is customary before we speak to the audience. Before we speak to the audience, that you get permission to speak, and we would like to get permission to speak from one of our elders that's here, and one of our elders would be. Brother, can you give us permission to speak?
Yes, you may.
Yes. All right. So, we would also like to ask people to keep in prayers for Kenu. A lot of people know him by Kenu Johnny Rib. We want to send our prayers to him to just making sure that he continue to recuperate in a good manner, that he continue to recuperate in a good manner. Now, we're going to go ahead and just talk about what's going on. When Mr. Kevin arrived, Mr. Kevin, he has his own mindset. He's a one-man show. He don't take too much of anything, and a lot of times I have to calm Mr. Kevin down. But, those are the break. So let's just keep it rolling. We got to emphasize that voting is Saturday. Please make sure that you come out and vote Saturday. You have the governor race. We have some some council races. People have got to be ready to vote. And whether it's raining, pouring down sleet, it don't really matter. Please exercise the right to vote, and know that your history. I was telling some of my friends earlier, people are always calling me wanting information about this, information about that, and everything. And one of the first things that I'm going to start doing, not only are you a registered voter, but do you vote? Because we had practically almost 10,000 people that did not vote. Almost 10,000 people that did not vote. 9,900 and something that did not vote, and are registered voters. Had they voted, we wouldn't be going through this whole election all over again. So let's just go ahead with that. Mr. Kevin, I noticed you're breathing pretty hard. So I don't know if you want to take some water or what it is.
But keep talking.
But this is a live segment at 337-366-8950. And another thing that people need to understand is that the churches are supposed to be the pillars in the community. That's how in the 50s and the 60s and all these other times, that's how we were able to make good strides. We were able to make changes with laws and everything, because our pastors were the ones that say, get out and vote, and this is who you, I don't know if they say this is who you vote for, but we were together collectively. And with us having we had like a low turnout, Mr. Kevin, a low turnout with voters, particularly black voters. We had a low turnout with them, and I don't understand. Consuela and Kelly, they have been out canvassing the neighborhoods over and over. So many people canvassing the neighborhood, and till this day, we in a serious fight just to try to get the right person elected, re-elected. We're in a serious fight for that. So that's what I wanted to mention. And of course, the topic is,
what is freedom? And you're mentioning about the poor voting. In my neighborhood, I didn't see too many people come out and try to get people to vote, but they did mail a lot of stuff out in the mail. We didn't used to do that. We used to go knock on doors. now we done got so lazy, we want Facebook, mailing. We don't know how to talk to people face to face. And that's what's happening, that's why the poor turnouts. But I don't blame the people, I blame the candidates. Because they are the one running for the office. They're gonna be getting paid for these seats. But they want people to do their job for them. And we already gonna put them in there, so it's your job to come cater to us. So that's the biggest problem, is the candidates who finding time to respond to Facebook news than real news, that's the people.
Well, you do know that the candidates gonna have their base gonna be out there automatically. The candidates base gonna be out there automatically. Family, friends, you go out and vote. Where I have the problem is that you've mentioned we have a church on every corner. At one time, the pastor used to talk to his congregation. You didn't have to go and say, well, look, I need to discuss this about voting. That's one thing that ministers, pastors, or
clergy, whatever they want to call themselves.
Right. They were the gatekeepers in our community. They looked out for the betterment of their congregation, their community
itself, not just a person who was a member of their church.
Right.
And that's the problem we're having right now with our black churches, is that if you don't belong to their church, they feel they don't have to belong to you and represent what's right. Even the NAACP back in the day used to represent the people. And now if you're not a member and you don't pay your dues, they don't represent nothing. So we getting just like the people that have been oppressing us for the longest.
Well, you know what? I have to take heed with what you just said. I mean, just like any big time organization, there's problems. And the NAACP could only do so much with so little of what they had. I mean, we lost a good bit of, soldiers like Janelle Shagwell, may she continue to rest in peace. Janelle had a connection with lawyers where she would just call them.
She had a connection with people more than lawyers. And that's what the NAACP presidents of all chapters don't have today. It's about a check with these people. And it didn't used to be like that. And I've been complaining about the churches. I don't know what church didn't say a prayer for you, but now you're starting to see what I'm talking about with the churches where they have lost the fulfillment in the people. It's about membership and dues to these churches. And if they're not a member of their church, they're not going to go represent them. When we went out there for Victor White, his dad was a reverend. No other churches stood by him.
Yeah,
none.
Imani Temple stood with him. Bishop Milton, John Milton with Imani Temple, he stood with him. And the churches like in the New Iberia area.
None of these churches I saw. I was there, and I'm not even a church member.
Yeah, you was there. You're not a church member. Yeah.
Because I'm for the people. You see, we label ourselves with parties, with Republican, liberal, all kind of different stuff, and it's supposed to be people are the parties, humanity. This is what we done lost, and that's why you're seeing so many so-called black leaders begging black youngsters to come and vote, because this election is so important to them, because if Spony get in there, he's going to overturn everything. And look, I don't have to be here all out of breath trying to represent the people. But as my heart tells me to do for my children and grandchildren, my white nieces and nephew, I got to say something before I go, because if I leave this like it is today, it's going to get only worse. And look, I want to thank all the white folks who really out there knowing what hate is. And this is nothing but a hate scandal that's going on, and it's about the money, trading people for money. And that's what we having today with the White House. He have been to every country where there's dictators and selling our weapons for war. Now, I can understand if he's selling the weapons for war to help pay for welfare and benefits and Medicare for all. I have no problem with that. But they take our money and so-called invest it with foreign countries, and then we don't even get none of the profits. We have to pay more taxes each year. But yet still we live in other countries, monies to buy weapons for war. Until we gonna end up in one, that's when y'all gonna be happy.
Yes, Yes, yes. That's the truth. That is the truth. And going back to voting, why voting is so essential. Nobody should have to pick you up to go vote unless you actually don't have transportation. However, there's all kind of little network. You could call several groups. They will come and pick you up, take you to vote. And if you don't have identification, you could still vote. All you have to do is just sign an affidavit saying that this is you, and you must know your mother maiden name. Everybody should know their mother's maiden name.
But if you go to the courthouse early voting, they don't ask you nothing for but a driver's license.
Right.
You know, if your precinct, wherever you go to vote at, is giving you hassle, go straight to the court. Early voting. And look, if the candidates would spend the money they wasting on commercial to slander each other and put it toward people helping each other, you wouldn't see this kind of stuff going on in the social media and even the real media. Because right now we don't even have real media right now. Every 5 seconds it's a commercial and it's a campaigner trying to slander the other one.
Yeah.
When is enough? We spending billions of dollars to get them in there for them to rape us of trillions of dollars. But yet still nobody wants to tell nothing about what's going on inside the White House. You know, I'm always hearing candidates getting in there saying we got to get government out of our business. What they really mean, they don't want government in their business with all the government subsidies they getting to run their business. But when it comes to us, they want it in our business so they can tax us more for their profits. We got to stop getting separated by these people who trading us off for weapons and mass destruction. If y'all don't wake up, I'm talking about white, black, and brown people, you got to get together and stay on the same path. You know, I corrected so many white folks this past week with Governor Edwards. Don't even know him, but the commercials and the Facebook stuff, they going on that. And I'm trying to tell them that your grandparents, your parents on Medicaid and Medicare, they cutting all the services that you think going toward poor people. You are the poor people that they talking about. But they're making you go against your own rules. And if you tell them enough, they're going to keep believing this. Responde then showed you everything he cared about, which is government subsidies. Now, if you don't understand what that means, that's welfare for the rich. That's how they get richer. They're always complaining about we got to get government out of our business, but yet still they want to go work for government because they know the monies that government play with, our money. They play with that. We get taxed, they get breaks. That don't even make sense. And I can't be mad at the poor people that's under me that don't have a job and can't find a job. But I can be mad at the people that's above me who cutting all the jobs to go to their jobs and their friends. Government contracts. That's what they're doing it for. Government contracts. That's where the big money is at.
Now, this is a live segment. To call in, you could reach us at 337-366-8950. 337-366-8950. And we're discussing an array of different topics. However, our topic is freedom. Freedom is not free, and we all know that. What we was discussing earlier was the fact that
What is freedom?
What is freedom? And what we was discussing earlier is the fact that churches have really took a DL, a download, went with the download.
No, they haven't.
Because they're not getting their congregation. I've seen some of the churches, if they don't have 300 strong with the cars that's parked outside, they don't have nothing. And you could imagine that some of them have 2 and 3 people in one car. And it shouldn't be that people that are working diligently to get you out to vote, and you shouldn't even have no excuses. Like Mamie Tilt, remember Emmett, E-M-M-E-T-T, Emmett Tilt, T-I-L-L. Emmett Tilt was brutally killed. They came out of, his mother was Mamie Tilt. Caller, we're gonna come directly to you. His mother was Mamie Tilt. Emmett Tilt's father, he was in the military. He was Emmett Till father. Emmett Till is a little young man, young
14
man
years old.
that was killed, brutally killed.
Murdered, not killed, murdered.
Murdered. Was brutally murdered. And his father was in the U.S. Army fighting in Italy. His father was executed for willful disobedience. You know, he disobeyed an order, and they executed him. You know, however, Mammy Till was so powerful, she decided, as much of the brutality that they done to her baby, that she was gonna have an open casket. And that open casket, because I remember, I think I had to have been about 5 years old. I don't even know if you was born yet. Remember the casket. I remember the casket. And the casket with how his face was distorted. You could look it up. It's hard to show on the screen because it's very, very, very painful. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, call. Question or comment?
Question and comment. Nice to hear you guys back on the air, Mr. Kevin. Appreciate your show. I definitely appreciate your show. I have become a fan, even though, you know, I host other shows myself. I'm a fan of this show. It's like I can't wait to get it out. Listen, Mr. Kevin, you brought up a couple topics. Let's start with phony responding and the people that support him. They're playing a shell game, Mr. Kevin. If you look at how ludicrous his statement in his advertising, these ads, which turning a lot of people off, and these ads are designed to turn people off, even if you don't like the ads and you're on the other side of the equation. How you going to round up all the immigrants? And most of the immigrants are working in your damn sugarcane field. The people that support you, who will vote for you, you don't think all the farmers who support phony responding going to always suddenly vote for responding because he's trying to round up all the immigrants that working for him and making him all them dollars in the sugarcane field, Mr. Kevin, and when the sugar industry is being subsidized by the government anyway. So you're getting people to work for low wages, and you're getting people to subsidize. The government's giving the farmers so much money, and then again, sugar has been deemed as a health risk in South Louisiana for people to consume sugar. So we don't really need all that damn sugar. So these people have been playing shell games for a long, long time. Now you went into the NAACP, Mr. Kevin. I'm glad you brought it up. And Sister Khadijah, I do think the NAACP has a place. But yet, sister, you got good people who want to fight a noble fight within the NAACP, but you got bad leadership. If you make choices to have a known person who make racist statements and who talk down to black NFL players and talk like Trump, and you want him as your keynote speaker, well, then you're not making a good decision as a leader of the NAACP. And if you're a leader of the NAACP chapter and you support a racist, proven sheriff and who's being run through the federal court system, and you're supporting him by, at the same time, helping people organize a protest against him, you're insulting the intelligence of people. So you do have good people who want to fight the fight, but long as you have bad leadership, nobody gonna want to join the damn NAACP. Yeah, I say that too. I just wanted to put that forward. Lastly, Sister Khadijah, the point is, you could reach me at notmypastor.com. My pastor's busy on Facebook doing so much making so much trouble. You could reach me at notmypastor.com. Thank you so much.
Hey, look. W.E.B. Du Bois was the one who founded the NAACP. And my thing, what?
He was one of the founders.
But he was the one who started this, who built the platform for justice for all and not be in politics. And as we got these so-called black leaders started taking over the president of NAACP, but they still was working for the system that we was trying to go against, they lost themselves in the people. Now, my thing is, you know, just like the First Amendment, separation of church and state. You know, our founding fathers, they only had two that I really respect. That was John Adams, who said that this world would be best without religion. Thomas Jefferson said Christianity is the most perverted, you hear me, perverted thing shown on man. Even though these guys owned slaves, they had enough decency to evolve, and that means change. And if we don't start trying to show people who don't understand what this world is about, they gonna get lost in somebody who running the world the way they want gonna take over, which didn't happen. But if we sit there and say nothing about the churches, the NAACP, all these so-called groups supposed to be supporting rights, and not just for black people, for all people. Every time we separate ourselves by labeling each other, we get diluted. We are the majority, and the minority making all the rules. You know why? Because they know how to get in your head, because they're educated enough to use those words. They use words that make you even say that, damn, I didn't understand that. But yet still you're going to agree to it. Same thing with these commercials that they're doing right now. Look, Trump got to come down here one more time to give Responde another boost. That's telling you right there, they know Responde really can't win. But if we don't get out there and vote for John Bell Edwards, then we all going to be lost. And look, it's not going to hurt me or you who working. It's going to hurt our grandpa, our grandma, our old aunts who served and fought for this country, for rights, who should be getting free tax of everything, not the politician, the people who really and truly fought and paid their taxes for this country. But we letting them dilute us for them to get all the wealth.
Caller, you have a question or comment for the panel?
Yes, my name Johnson, and I just want to let Brother Kevin just to listen to what Sister Khadijah said. The Voice was one of the founders. And another thing I would like to say is that the NAACP is just another form of the KKK.
What? Are you serious?
Well, he got the right to his opinion. Simple as that.
I am real serious, because please believe me, they sell a lot of votes. Okay?
Well, wait a minute.
Like you said, phony at a Responde, that guy.
Okay, caller. Caller. It's no way that you could compare the NAACP with the KKK. The NAACP never once lynched, castrated, or killed anyone. The KKK has a known history of that. So when you look at these two comparisons, you do know that it's no way that you could compare NAACP, KKK. It's completely ludicrous. And it's a good thing that you're not in front of me, because being in the front of me, I
He
really...
has the right to freedom of speech.
That's what I'm saying.
He
No,
has the right to say what he feels.
But it's okay to say what he
Yes.
feels, but he got to get the information correct.
And what he got, he going on what he got and what he's seeing right now. So we got to understand where he's coming from.
So I need to help him. I need to.
One more question I would like to ask you.
Okay, I need to help him evolve.
If you've been to one of the KKK lynchings and raised one of those hoods up, you're going to see a lot of black people there.
No way. I don't know. You can't.
Look, caller, we appreciate it.
No.
But this is the thing that we got to understand. Everybody have the freedom to think what they have to think. But until you get the facts, that's when it's reality sets in.
Okay, and the facts of the matter is NAACP never once lynched anyone.
Okay, but we don't even have to explain that to him. We know what the NAACP supposed to be doing. To him, he feels that they're doing just like the KKK and keeping.
No, but his.
But we're giving him too much time. We got other things
Okay,
he got to talk. He got the right to say what he wants.
Caller.
He's off the air now. But we got to go back to what we're saying.
Okay.
We got to treat
Right.
and teach our people how to transcend to another level.
Okay.
Look beyond and over what they think.
Okay, caller, Ku Klux Klan is just what it is. They have killed, they have castrated, they have raped, they have done all kind of things to people of color. The NAACP, the majority time, have tried to help people with pressing issues, from the bus boycott to segregation. I mean, you just can't just rob the
he
baby.
needs to look it up. We got to talk about this week's voting. We're not worried about what he think. We on a bigger picture.
We're not worried about it.
We're not worried about that, because we already know what's going on. See, it's people like that we got to educate to make them see better. We ain't got to explain every little thing. All you got to do is go Google up KKK, and that's it. We don't have time for all that. We got to talk about getting our people together this Saturday to go to vote. Just like when the Black Panther came out, I saw a lot of rich people renting movie theaters and buses and all that to get this number one. Same thing with these Democratic people should be doing the same thing this week and stop worrying about how much money they're going to make off a candidate and stop selling their people off. Because if we don't come together as one, see this little simple distraction, how it threw you off and all that? If you got to explain to somebody about NAACP compared to KKK, you're not no better than them because we're supposed to be bigger than that. And plus, we're supposed to be showing everybody how to outthink people who don't know how to think beyond the box.
And I am better than that because I did try to
but you can do it. He can call you later. He can, but he need to go through that stuff.
Yeah,
but my thing is, black folks, you're not tired of being misunderstood. White folks, you're not tired of people thinking you're a racist. If we don't come together and show each other our culture and share with each other, then we're going to be lost. Because number one, we got to think about our next generation, our kids and grandkids. They all play together at school, and then the minute we get home, here comes the separation. This is what everything is being boiled down to. It's about the dollar. Even with the churches, about the dollar. I never saw so many churches have so many feuds about who God is stronger. How many gods do they have? We got to make them understand that we are the only gods that's living. And if we don't show them how to be better than the person that's talking about them, then we become them. We done got to a state where we can't even take nobody saying nothing about us no more. I don't care what people think about me and all that, as long as I know who I am and what I represent. When you got to start defending your character, you lose your character.
No, it's called facts versus fiction.
But
that's a big difference. Facts versus fiction.
Okay, look what's happening in the White House right now.
Okay,
we got all the Republicans defending Trump's lies and stories. Facts against stories. But yet still they got the nerve to talk about bullies in the school and thugs in the street. They're the biggest thugs they got around. Because they will lie and cover stories up knowing that it's offending everybody to this country. But we can't be taking time to fall out behind simple little conclusion of what somebody think about a club or whatever. That's why I don't belong to a church or organization or none of this. Because I have the freedom to think about what I want to be and I treat people the way I want to be treated. We don't have that no more. And if some of the black so-called leaders would share their wealth with some of the people that's poor, you wouldn't see them, taking pictures for John Bel Elwood to help him get a vote from the black people. Now, all of a sudden, the black votes is what's needed now. And now we want to try to reach them. I've been saying it for a long time. Come to the neighborhood. Go to the poor neighborhood and see. Don't send somebody. You come back there and see. Don't tell us what you've been knowing all the time what we need. Bring what we need. Now this week I'm asking every black, white, Asian and all that to go and cast your vote because it does matter. Because if these people get in there, like I said, it's not going to affect me. I got a job. She got a job. We trying to take time out to give you a voice that you feel you don't have. You got that vote. That's the leveling stick for them. It comes once every year, different divisions. But when it comes to this here, this is 4 years you got to put up with this. If you don't want this to get even worse, show up to vote, please.
And again, as the co-host of Defending Our Community, Mr. Kevin as the host, the telephone number you could reach us is 337-366-8950, extension 1. And we want to also emphasize that when the title is what is freedom, we have to understand too that we're fighting on different levels, and that to remember out in New Iberia with the Honorable Judge Laurie Landry, she's still in court, and we still got to be out there at the 16 JDC giving her support. We still have to give support to the mayor out, Miss Melinda out in St. Martinville, Louisiana, who a cousin or someone by marriage, he gets into some kind of trouble, and they tack on Mayor Melinda cousin or whatever the deal is, and everything. But
just like the media taking her name and using it in vain, that's a lawsuit. Because any other candidate, they wouldn't even do this.
Well, you know, public officials, they're supposed to handle scrutiny, but give us the both the right type of scrutiny. Don't go ahead after someone wholeheartedly, and then you just don't even tap the hand of someone that's continuously.
This is a racist conversation right here, because number one, look what they did Barack. Barack couldn't talk to a Muslim. He couldn't even be seen by a dictator's picture. This president we got here today, he goes into their country and then bring them back to this country and refuse to let the media come in the conversation.
Yeah, Kevin.
He works for us.
Yeah, try,
and if
Kevin,
we don't allow this to happen, we wouldn't. It don't even make sense, because you see, the thing that they don't know, what you reap, you will sow.
Yes. Caller, you have a question or comment for Mr. Kevin or myself?
I just want to say y'all show is hot. I like y'all show and keep up the good work. And Khadijah, you can't do people nothing for their opinion. First, I want to say to Mr. Kevin, you know, Mr. Kevin, you really are awesome. But Mr. Kevin, you don't know everything.
I don't.
Shut up and let Khadijah talk sometime. And I want her to hang up, because you ain't going to tell me what you want to tell me on this TV. You can tell me later. Okay, I love y'all. Bye.
Thank you.
All right, yeah,
But
okay.
you see, that's the thing I'm not afraid of. I don't know everything, but I'm not afraid to know it. And that's the problem that we have today as we get older, that we feel we can't take wisdom from someone on the street or someone that's in a proposition where we can get some kind of advice from them, because we look at people and judge them automatically on sight. You know, we didn't used to be like that. We used to be a people that would forgive our enemies, not nail them to the cross. And now we're willing to act just like the oppressor, so that way we can get back at them. That's called evilness. And if we don't be bigger than them, then we become them. And that's what I'm saying with this hearing they're having again on another impeachment. You know, the Republicans will dissect everything that they have to dissect to make them look like they're correct. And if the people believe this garbage, then they got you.
And I want to say something. Okay, caller, you have a question or comment? I wanted to say something about that impeachment.
I have a comment.
Go ahead, caller.
I just want to give Mr. Kevin his right. Mr. Kevin, you're right, but what you had to say, Mr. Kevin, before I hung up on you?
No, I said it after you hung up.
I know you did. But everything you Kev, you're right, Mr. Kevin. I ain't lying.
I appreciate
it. A lot of points that you make.
I appreciate it.
And I really like y'all too. But Khadijah, just speak it.
Right.
Yeah, you got to turn into it. You know, I mean, everybody have a right to give their opinion, but we the ones supposed to correct it when we know it's wrong, but not get into their
I'm proud of
division.
y'all.
Yes. Thank you so much, caller. Thank you so much. Now, go ahead, Mr. Kevin.
Okay, I'm going ahead with us getting together as people and not being labeled as black, white, Hispanic, Asian, and all this other stuff. You know, until we get together as human beings, we're never going to take over and overturn what these people done got in and turn. You know, I used to grow up afraid of government, to hearing people talk about government. Then I realized why government was formed. Government was formed to keep the greed out of man's hand, the millionaires. This is why government was formed. And now we have more Christianity views than government views on corporation and business that's robbing people. You know, I didn't like the part that John Bell Elwood agreed for abortion and all that stuff. I didn't like that, but I still gave him a vote. You know, and my thing is, if we don't get these corrupt people out, this is what's going to happen. They're really going to fail government and the people. But you got to understand, they're playing with our money, not their money.
Yeah, that's
They're playing with our money. It's not theirs. But they get in and taking our money and putting it in their account. And I'm giving you the ones that's being wrong, because you have the right. You have the right to put the person that you feel is capable of doing the job. It's not about a party. It's not about a color. It's not even about what's your Christianity. Because, like again I said, First Amendment, separation of church and state. Because we have so many Christian values that's in our government. That don't even make sense. We got more rules and regulation on human beings than a corporation. And then if you try to tell on them, they want to try to lawsuit you. They call it the slap lawsuit. Put you in court, make you spend all kind of money, and scare the next person from telling the truth. This is what's happening right now with the impeachment. You just said you had something to say about it. These people are trying to scare everybody who knows something not to say something when it's against them. But let that be me or you. They're going to throw the lynching rope out.
Yeah.
And try to take everything that we have that they so-called don't need. But just to show us better than to tell us, they're going to do it. White, black, it doesn't matter, because just as many as black people suffering, they have white people suffering right now. Right. So if we keep on separating us right now, we're not going to be nothing. And that's what I keep trying to tell people of my color, culture. We are just one race, human race. But we allowed them to separate us like, what's your race? I'm human. You know, I listen and I think about my grandchildren, my nieces, my nephews, and some of them are white. What they got to go through. And what I like about it is that they're showing some of the most racist people that black people are humans too.
Kevin.
Because they didn't think we were humans.
Yeah, yes, and really, when you say some of them are white, anytime you have a drop of blood, of black blood.
See, there we go with the labeling.
Anytime you have a drop of black, that's not
labeling because we're human.
That's factual.
I ain't never. I used to raise dogs, and I didn't go by my dog's color with the name them.
Well,
they were still a dog, whether it was black, white, with Brenda, whatever.
That's animals. But
okay, but why are we as humans got to be labeling ourselves?
There's nothing wrong with the label.
Yes,
One drop of black blood, you're black. So really, in actuality, they are black because they come from a black parent.
You know, black is going to be extinct real soon.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Because look, you yellow, I'm a little darker version than you. So we got to stop labeling ourselves. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. We got to start now.
I'm pure black.
No, you got some white in your family. But you don't want to see that. And you didn't just get bright like this. It was somebody on the plantation that got to your great-grandmother or one of them. But yet still, we cannot be mad at every other different color. We all human race.
Right.
We got to stop labeling these people as mixed. Mixed with what?
Yes, and mixed with different
human.
With different
human
cultures.
As one race, whether it's mixed or not.
Right.
It's human race. It should be, what are you, a male or a female? And I don't care if you're both. But we got to stop labeling us as, look, people get mad when I say I'm, yes you can.
Can't be both.
Yes you can.
Can't be both.
People get mad when I say I'm not an African American. I am not an African American. I was born in America. Maybe my great ancestor was from Haiti or whatever. I was born out here. I am American. And
I believe that people want you to know that you are an American. I'm
but
proud.
Why we got a label like y'all do saying I'm an African American? You never been to Africa?
I'm proud to say that I'm African American. I'm proud to know that my culture is really that good. I'm proud to know that I am talking, and I would like to be seen when I'm talking.
Oh, they see you.
Producer.
They see you. But we got to make them understand us. And if we don't understand each other, then how they gonna understand us? My bad. We got to start with ourselves first. We always talking about we want them to respect us. Well, start respecting our own self, and then they're going to see that, and then we're going to get respect from them. You know, I don't never take up, even if it's in my family, when something happened that, oh, it wasn't his fault, well, where he was, what this and that. I don't start covering this stuff. Because if we start covering, we just like them. You know, when I hear some black families or white families always giving credit, oh, they come from a good family. Well, I did too. But when I say that, I got a problem. Because I came from a good parent. I did come from some good parents. And what's so good about it, they weren't educated, but they had common sense.
Yeah.
And that's the key to common sense, is getting education.
Right, and I could understand you did come from some good parents. As a matter of fact, you had a silver spoon in your mouth.
Silver?
Yep.
I wish it was. You had plastic.
You had a silver spoon in your mouth. I don't even think that you barely ever got a whipping. But
I got beatings. I got beatings, not whippings.
Other siblings got it, and they got it real bad. So you need to be careful about when you're talking about your tree like that.
Well,
and this is a live segment.
Whether the storm is coming.
The name of the subject, the topic is, what is freedom?
What is freedom?
What is freedom? And the telephone number is 337-366-8950.
But back to us getting ourselves together is called freedom. And look, I want to dedicate this show to Mr. Robert A. Polk. I don't know if you remember.
I remember Mr. Polk.
His sister was Elaine Polk. She ran Ebony Journal, Ebony Journal.
Yeah, she ran Acadiana Ebony Journal.
These people came from New Iberia, and they was true veterans. He was honorable to me because he always kept it real. He always, did what he had to do to get us back on our feet. And we don't praise those real people because they don't have a letterhead. And that's where we go wrong when we try to put people that don't belong on a pedestal. Like you complaining about your churches. There's human being in those churches, and they just like us, just so they feel that they got a higher being. Me, I feel I am the higher being. For me to do better, I got to act better. They always say lead by example. That's why the churches in the NAACP haven't been given good examples, because they don't lead. And everybody who's looking for a leader, look in the mirror. You are the only leader who can tell you what's right and what's wrong. Until you realize what's going on with your life, nobody can tell you what you need to do in your life. Remember that.
Yes, and I wanted to say something. Caller, you have a question or comment?
Comment. Kevin, you're a black version of me. Enough with the color. Let's all get along.
That's about it, buddy.
Okay.
I was raised with black people all my life. We played marbles, tops, yo-yos.
Okay.
That's a black man.
No,
Okay.
that's a white guy. And the thing is, you see, that's the problem we got to stop with.
All right, and-
That's a black man or that's a white
and-
man, because we all came up together. I played with White Churn, and White Churn played with me, and we treated them just like they was our brothers or sisters. Now, some of their parents didn't treat us like we were their brothers or sisters, but we came from a people who used to give respect to get respect.
Yes, okay. And caller,
And
that's
thank you, caller, for that comment. But look, we trying to, wake up a lot of the white brothers and sisters too to vote the right way. And the thing is, I'm not knocking any man. Every man has problems and mistakes. But look the track history of the two candidates. John Bell is not that good, but he better than Eddie Risponi. My thing is to everybody who think they need new government systems, get the new people in it, because government is government. It's until people start running it that government become bad. And that's what they always did tell us. We got to get them people out of our business. But they weren't telling you out of their business. They didn't want to be taxed for nothing that they was making. But they want them to tax us, the people who stay working. And if we don't come and let them know we know, then they're going to keep on scamming us. And to all those candidates who supporting candidates or people in office that doing corruption, you know better than them. Because if you got to lie and cover for them, you are that person.
Yes, and this is a live segment. The topic is, what is freedom? The host is Mr. Kevin. The co-host is myself, Sister Khadijah. You can call us at 337-366-8950. I know, Saturday is early voting. The voting polls will open at 7 a.m. and they will close at 8 p.m. Get out there and vote, whether you have an identification or not. You could still vote. You just sign an affidavit and you just go ahead and you must know your mother's maiden name.
And if you have problems, make a big old corruption over there till they give you the right person you need to talk with. Because, a lot of people don't realize that day is the last day you can vote. And if you let these people aggravate you to leave out of that, they done their job. So don't get mad and tell them, well, I voted here. Answer all the questions, but make sure you give them all the answers they need and more. And if they're not getting your attention right, tell them you want to talk to somebody that's higher than them. That's all you got to do. Look, our candidate for sheriff, you got Murphy Myers and Tommy Romero. May 15th, 2019, Murphy Myers, this is a police report from Southland Inn. He was using the N-word with some other little guys. I'm giving you that information because he's running to represent the sheriff of New Iberia. And if he's starting off with this kind of stuff, guess what happens when he get in? My thing is, I don't know Tommy Romero that good, but I know if I hear him saying words like this, I wouldn't want to vote for him either. So out of those two candidates, you decide. Go pick up the police report, which you didn't want to give it to the little guy who made the complaint, but yet still they got all the evidence that he was there and he did use these words. Now guys, if you're not ready for a change, don't complain later on when they get in there. Because we always complaining after the fact. When black people get in something, they always say, oh, that's good for him. That should have happened to him. And then when it happened to your family, you be like, oh, we need to come together. No, that last family, we should have came together. Because if they do it with one, they do it to all. Guys, we got to come together this Saturday and get these votes and get these people that's supposed to be representing the people. Because they are a public servant to us, even though they're getting paid. With our money. I'm talking about big money, not little money. They can pay for commercials. Out of the, go make loan. Man, the bank just give them loan because they know once the bank sponsor them, they own them too for all kind of little favors. But we the people is the one who put them in there. And we got to stop allowing these people to misuse us. And to all the veterans, I'm talking about real veterans who fighting every day, even though you're not in those war in other countries. There's a war over here, and that's against us. Civil war. They're trying to create us to fight each other for nothing. Meanwhile, they're at the gate giving us crumbs and giving us lies. But yet still, when it comes to them, they can do all kind of crazy things, but not them. I'm watching all these immigrants that's running the White House right now. Don't want other immigrants to come in this country. But if you kin to them, like Trump did with his in-laws, he lets them come in. Mm-hmm. But all of them that's in the White House are not true Americans. They are immigrants. And you're allowing them to control this system and create hate. I've never saw so many American terrorists in America like I see today. We preach hate all day long. And then we go sit down with dictators, knowing what they're doing to their people. The news will cover all the other countries' straight up media and give the truth. When it comes to us, they lie to us and leave things out. But just like those other countries right now fighting for their rights, we doing the same thing. This is not as bad yet. But if this man get in office again, trust me, we going to be fighting for real. And it's not going to be with a different country. It's going to be with us. Because we need to start respecting each other and trying to understand each other. Because just like the things you want, I want too. But I don't want to step on another man's feet to get it.
Well, yes, and this is a live segment. You can reach us at 366-8950. Mr. Kevin is the host. Sister Khadijah, I'm the co-host. And the topic is freedom is not free. Also, it's something about, there's something with words. I mean, I hate to use the word of an immigrant because each and every one has come from a different part of the world. When you look at Christopher Columbus, who allegedly discovered America, he wind up hitting the Plymouth Rock and all this other kind of stuff.
No, the rock hit him.
No, he ran into the rock. He ran into the rock, and they were greeted by the indigenous Americans, which is the Indians, and they took and they welcomed them into their home, and before you know it, they started with, and I'm talking about Christopher Columbus, Christopher Colon, however y'all have him labeled. They started like raping, murdering. Had Amherst, who took and put the smallpox virus in the blankets that they gave to the indigenous Americans.
Kill them off.
Right. So just knowing that language, it's like, oh, I'm an immigrant. It's like a slap on the face. The immigrants are the ones, and continuously be the one.
This is what this country is made of.
Yeah, continuously is the one that has helped the United States excel to the level in which they excel to.
Look, the Statue of Liberty, that was donated by immigrants who came to this country for freedom and prosper. And now we have our children saying the Pledge of Allegiance in the morning, but we have no liberty or justice. Why would you make them say this if you're not going to give them no justice or liberty? And that's freedom. You know, I heard the other day they called John Bell Edwards a liberal. Well, I'm a liberal Republican, but I vote Democrat because of the hate that the new Republicans, who are Christians, put out there. I mean, if you preaching a word of God that the man wrote, you should be respecting every word that you put out there, not going against the word. And, you know, you could kill a man, then you're going to say, may God have your soul. You just broke one of the commandments. But we don't want a young lady to have an abortion, but we can kill him in prison. And then have a prayer, and then have like a party before killing him.
Oh, then, yeah,
What kind of people have we become? When we can enjoy what we do and then say the book said to do it. The book doesn't say nothing but treating people the way you want to be treated. That's the only thing that I take out of the book that man wrote. Do not trust man. And yet still man is giving you all the destruction that happened from time and time before. Because every history you see that man has destroyed everything where he has been. And we are following this. You know, we have enough money for everybody, whether they come from a different country or not. You know, if we wouldn't have all these farmers and people like Risponi getting these immigrants to come work for no money, no benefits, we wouldn't have jobs being lost. Matter of fact, if we would take all the foreign trade and make everything in America, not build a building where you can get stuff from China shipped to America, we got to start building things in America. That's where you're going to get the jobs at. Not waiting on a government candidate to say he's going to create jobs. No, he's not going to create jobs. What he's going to do is get some government contract to create jobs for the immigrants he's going to hire and keep the rest of the money that he's going to spend.
And also to our elderly, it's freezing. They're asking that you please stay warm. They're also asking that be careful with any type of electric heaters. Don't have them close to the curtains. Don't have them close to the bedroom. And the word is also out to neighbors to check on neighbors. Neighbors, please check on your elderly. Everybody.
And don't forget the homeless, because they the one out there. I'm hearing more animal commercial, taking your animal in. You got more people over there on this end homeless, but yet still you won't even build them a bonfire or bring them some coats or something. So be a true Christian coming up this Thanksgiving. You know, all what the Indians showed the Americans, try to give them a little respect and thank an Indian for what he showed the Americans, how to grow their own corn for this Thanksgiving.
And be careful when you start celebrating Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving, some people know it as being misgivings, because you never want to celebrate the demise of a culture, and that was a demise of the indigenous Americans or the Indians when Christopher Colon or Christopher Columbus, whatever you want to call him, slip up on Plymouth Rock. We have a couple of minutes left, Kevin.
I want to say to everybody that if you're not part of the solution, you are the problem. Black, white, Asian, it doesn't matter. Hispanic, y'all in America, all y'all have to do is go and get your American citizenship and get legalized. Simple as that. And it's not that hard, but we got to get those people that's out, those immigrants that's out that's stopping y'all from doing it. We got to get them out for y'all to become American citizens, because together we are better. Simple as that.
And this is a live segment. You are watching a powerful program defending our community, and we want to also continue to send out the prayers to get well soon. Kenneth Kenu Broussard, please get well soon, and thank you so very much.
To all you church people, y'all better get with her and get right, because she gonna blast y'all. I don't know what y'all done her.